Kevin, has this been the most, I wasn't in that room, we're out here, but has this been the most harried month of your life, or how would you explain it?
It's been fun. It's been exciting. My wife told me I had my bounce and my step back, which is kind of cool. It's different from years past because of transfer portal. And you got to go try to embrace people you don't know and convince them to hang in there in this world where people get pulled like that. To me, was so it's not been like. You were always kind of on the go because you're recruiting, you're chasing guys, you're working practice. Coach Day was adamant. We get a lot of bowl practice or preparation in early. So we had several recruiting days that we were not recruiting. We were in, even if we weren't sometimes we're practicing, sometimes we weren't. When the last game ended, there was a week there where we couldn't recruit till Friday. So we kind of came in and started looking at ourselves, analyzing the year, things we liked, didn't, started anticipating, looking ahead. Had the guys practice a couple times, not to have hard practices, but keep them fresh because potentially we're playing teams that were, and during an open day week, you still practice.
Yeah.
We didn't take an off week. So we're trying to think ahead, not knowing exactly how things would play out. So bottom line, when we hit the road recruiting, I was kind of dealing full throttle down there because I wasn't technically recruiting for us. When we weren't recruiting and back here, I was probably 90% with us all the time. And then from there, it was just compartmentalizing. I'm a 3-phone guy right now. This is called my personal life, and you're actually in this one because I could put friends in
this one hasn't been working.
I just don't respond. This one is Buckeyes, and that's the other one. So I compartmentalize, and so no one has that number except them guys. So I don't get lost with these guys.
Do they have different ringtones?
No, it's just because I compartmentalize. So when I'm back in this football, it's all football, and it's all. And Ryan's been adamant. Let's get these guys on point. So it's been just time management. I've been staying up to 2 or 3 in the morning. Just you kind of where you're at, where your feet are, and then when you get a window of time, instead of totally maybe pressing pause, you're thinking about the future down there. That where typically you might say, okay, you got an hour or two to just veg. I'm probably an hour or two down there thinking about staffing or recruiting and that kind of stuff. Other than that, it was just kind of this phase or that phase, and it was as much this phase for this team and to finish up as anything we've done.
One other quickie from that what do you know about being a head coach now, having been it and then having it taken away, staying at home? Where are you going to be better as being a head coach? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This next shot.
One, taking your time initially in some of these decisions with recruiting. The first decision down there was to try to finish their semester good academically and connect with the kids to try to get as many as we could to stay on board. Yeah. Outside of that, it wasn't like go find a quick recruit because it's buyer beware. Yeah. Don't go find a quick portal guy. Buyer be like, what are you getting? And the same deal with staffing. So it was like to take a little time. I think. One, since you've done it, you've done some good things and bad things as a head coach. But I also think, too, the chance of being around Coach Meyer and Coach Day and the way we do some things here, you've seen other ways of doing things. Sometimes you kind of know what you know. And so to be exposed to some of the leadership tactics or organization of structure and putting things together, I think I'm 6-7 years better just from the experience of the greatness of our place, the leadership of Gene. And again, it's a different school and different budgets and all that kind of stuff. But just, the ability, this is a very talented place with a lot of resources at Ohio State, but it's also one of the places where I thought people were more connected. And we did a great job of connecting everyone that works with our players to work together for our players. A lot of places I've been, you've got good people in different areas, but they get compartmentalized. And when you have support people, everyone is doing supporting the players. And I think the way Coach Meyer originally structured this organization and the strength of what Mick and Volt and Pantone, all the guys, they bring visions of things that I never saw that way before that I think will help potentially different budgets and amount of staffing, but a way to connect people together. That's one of the beauties of this. You got talented people at the school, but you got so many people working together. It's why this organization is so strong year after year after year. That's my opinion.
Is Tulsa tampering with Toby?
No, I did offer him the scholarship. Well, buddy, I said, hey, whatever. I did tell him, compared to other press conferences I saw, that he needed to stay here and get his fat butt in shape. He's been running with the twos. He's had great bowl practices. He came here because they wanted to get into coaching. And I think just being around the quality of coaches and the leadership of Coach Mick and all these things we're talking about, and what you get in the weight room and with that staff, what you get with the coaching, the competition is always going to be hard for him. But my encouragement is for, I got 3 kids living in town. I have 2 daughters living in town. So that was kind of one of those decisions. And I just kind of looked at it my age to get a chance to lead a program in 4, 5, 6, 7 years of maybe one more time to do it, maybe do it better.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of unique, not to prove that I could do it, because we actually had success at the losingest program in history of college ball. So I'm proud of what we did over there. And I'm excited about the potential to do this, but we're leading some family back in Columbus, which is it's not our home, but it's kind of become a great place for our family.
When to shift to this actual game, I'm trying to think about the use of tempo and how varied it's been for you guys. The last time I think, in my mind, that you guys went maybe full throttle was the Sugar Bowl with Clemson. What's the advantage or disadvantage to doing that, or the risk to pushing the pedal like you did 2 years ago?
Sometimes, I guess you can eliminate their calls, but so many teams, and this is a tremendous defensive structure, well coached, that they get immune to just being able to get their calls in, get their kids lined up. So years ago, you would catch guys off guard. I think defensive guys have called up their ability to anticipate, see. Really what you see right now in college ball is so many no-huddle defenses, where the defenses are actually waiting for you to line. It used to be the offensive line where they call plays with defense. So let's do that. Let's see where they're at. Oh, they're this formation. I like this alignment. I like this coverage. I like this. You're playing your tendencies of the flow of the game, but you're playing your tendencies of lineup. So, I think, people have gotten really good at alignment, and you don't get guys that's misaligned. If you don't execute, you get off the field. If you do execute, you get them tired. There's give and take. I guess it'll be a part of it. The key what we're doing is we have to execute and stay on schedule to get some plays to add up, because when you play a great defense, if you don't execute, you don't get a lot of plays. And you watch this team, they typically offensively wear you down, and they pick it up steam in the third and fourth quarter, and it's where they've kind of got after teams as they play their complementary ball on both sides. So if we go tempo, how much, when, where, the weather's not going to be a factor with that. Sometimes crowd noise can be a factor with tempo. Your ability to communicate as you communicate, because it'll be loud in there in that indoor arena, and we'll have a bunch of Buckeye fans, but they'll have a large crowd. So I think crowd noise will be a factor as we figure that stuff out. But we got to pick our spots. Sometimes tempo now isn't going fast. You can kind of wait and then maybe call play fast. There's different ways of doing it. But we got to execute, and we got to get third down conversions and some big plays to find a way to not only sustain drives but get the ball in the end zone.
Kevin, we talked about Matt.
And there's been other games like. You just watch. Clemson got a lot of notoriety. Indiana's been a team we've done. But every game's a little bit different. There's different stress levels that each team brings.
Do you think you'll have Matt Jones on Saturday? Do you know yet?
Well, as far as what?
Matt Jones.
Matt Jones, right guard. It was game time for Michigan.
Yeah, he's been practicing. Okay. He had a pretty decent sprain, but he's been kind of full tilt for 2 weeks, so he should be good to go.
Has he not? Is he not stepped up?
Well, and I guess those guys can split time. But I think Matt has played enough that unless there's a glitch with Donnie or he or Luke inside, I would anticipate Matt getting the bulk of it. But Knox has played well as the next guy. And Josh Fryer, those are the 7 guys that play.
Yeah. Is what you're talking about tempo just kind of the nature of the cyclicalness of the game? Everybody goes fast, defenses catch up. Now you've got to find the next.
Yeah, we made a bigger deal this year about is play volume as critical as use versus play success, and converting the third downs to big plays to get the ball in the end zone and to keep the drives going. So there's a period of time I think you want to say snap as fast as you could, get as many at bats, as many swings as you could per se. I think that's a part of it now, but I think defense has gotten so good at seeing tendencies or again how to line up, and as you're going fast, we can line up fast, but we can line up into a tough structure and make it a little bit more difficult if they get a beat on you. I think everybody's gotten very gifted into the reconnaissance of stealing signals and plays and just being on top of what the other team does. It's there's like an army of people over there that are just all eyes on. And what's amazing is the guy that puts up the the thing so you can't win. Everybody's just looking straight across the other sideline right at you, saying, hey, he's jumping up and down. They're doing this, I remember years ago playing against Coach Meyer's team. Every time I told their guys, I said, when you guys started jumping up and down, you were going fast because you were just so fanatic signaling. It was no doubt it was a tempo. You got to signal calm, so it doesn't give up what's going on here. So
you guys look like you're on an aircraft carrier, though, with the different colored, shirts and all that.
Yeah, that's just to help everyone, see who's live and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of coyness going on, but the key, whether it be tempo, is really just when you're playing this game, it's the execution of plays to stay on schedule, and then the ability to find some big plays to get points.
Yeah, in our microcosm, what went wrong in the second half again? 3 points in the second half is not enough. That's pretty straightforward against Michigan and stuff. What do you think? What y'all go back and figure out? And not that you can play that again, but
credit them. We did have opportunities where some score zone or fringe score zone situations we come up empty-handed.
Yeah.
Because again, you move the ball. I know one side we give big plays. On our side, we move the ball reasonably well, but didn't convert. And then with that, in the second half, we had a couple short drives. We come out the first couple possessions of the third quarter, and I think we get, if I recall correctly, a first down, and then we get it to, I think we run it and got it second and 2, and third and 2, we go nothing and punt. And then we come back the next drive, and we have 2 15-yard penalties at the end of drive. So the first drive, you're up there, and you're at midfield, and you got a second and 2, and you don't get a first down with 2 poor calls or we didn't do well. And so that drive bogged down. The next drive, you're going to be on the 30-yard line going in, and instead it's 1st and 35. And that's our 2 drives of the third quarter. They ate the ball up. We kind of shot ourselves in the foot, and then from there we go down and score, make it a one-possession game, and they pop 2 plays. So, but bottom line is just too many penalties. Opportunity where you're moving the ball, but you don't get points. Everybody makes a big deal about total offense. It is scoring offense. We're talking about plays. It is scoring plays. You either got to finish drives in the red zone, which we didn't do a great job. They make the great play on the ball. We're Cade's down there. Yeah. We got a 4th down one time we don't get. We got the ball at midfield a couple times there. We're going to be plus midfield. We get the 2 15-yard penalties. You have scoring opportunities to come up empty-handed. So stats look like, hey, it wasn't a horrible offensive day, but when you don't score 2 touchdowns, that doesn't win big-time games. And when you're playing a team like that, a team like we're playing this week, when you're playing those games, you got to score 35. You got to score 5-6 touchdowns to have a chance.
That's what I was going to mention. You got to get in the 30s. I mean,
you've got to. I think I did. This was coming back through all the BCS time. I want to say in the national championship game, the winning team has averaged 42 points a game. You don't win 17-13. There's not a 3-yard cloud of dust deal. And it's the best defenses in the country. You're going against the best defenses. And if you want a chance to win the game, you still got to find a way to get the ball in the end zone. It's tough. But if you're going to be a championship team, we'll see if we can do that.
Kevin, you pointed at the banners in the preseason at the Woody Hayes.
Thanks, man.
We were talking to you about trying to win one finally.
Correct.
How important was that for you when you were gauging whether you wanted to stick around for this or head to?
Well, it wasn't like I didn't have conversations with the people at Tulsa about what to do. It's really, when it came up, it's like, what Coach Day and Gene Smith thought would be best for the team and the program. Because it wasn't my call. It wasn't like, hey, I want to stay. Like Coach said, what do you want to do? I said, hey, what do you want to do? I'm working for you, so what do you want? And he said, I want you here. And he goes, quite honestly, you have this opportunity because of the success of the team. You owe it to those guys. So, we're in a world, everybody's to jump ship. To me, it's your job to finish. And it's been not tough, but just you had to manage some time and have priorities. But I think the bulk of the time and priority has been on finishing and being the best I could to do my job the best I could with whether it be thoughts of game planning or as we're sitting there meeting with our players on the field or the energy you're bringing to the meeting room or the energy you're bringing to the practice field. It's been about giving these guys a chance, our team a chance to be the best we can and have an opportunity to chase this championship. So it's not been, Coach Day said it's what he wanted to do, and I said, hey, that's what I would like, but I wasn't going to be, I didn't have the demands. I want to do what you think's best for the team.
When we talked to you about that, you seemed pretty adamant that because you want to win a national championship. I think it's going to get a little harder for you at your next stop. Have you thought about, this is one chance to win a national championship in your coaching career?
No, my experience says when I think it's about me, it never happens that way. So this is, quote, our chance. This is this team's chance. And we got one swing, we're down to 5 days. So we got 5 days per swing, then they get one more at bat. So it's about this team. Every time it's like, here's what I thought. It's why when Coach Day said, boy, what do you want to do? It's not what I want to do. And I've always been like, I've been a lineman, I'm a walk-on, I'm a part of a group. And so it's always been about the group. And we're excited about it.
Kevin, when you were talking about the crowd earlier, how much of your game plans involve potentially dealing with a lot of Georgia fans and having to go prepare like it's a road game, silent count, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, you got it. We have to anticipate that you go back through and you watch the history of the games played here because they've played here quite a bit. So you can watch the LSU game, the Oregon game, the last 3 years. They've been in several championship games. They played in some kickoff games here. So you just you look at it. Now at the same time, when we're on offense, if they have a lot of fans, it can be loud. It's hard for us to communicate. It's actually harder for them to communicate with their checks because their defensive guys are communicating as we're communicating. So sometimes you see a lot of really wrinkled up good things when they're at home. It's kind of quiet because or when they're on the road. I mean, it's when you watch teams play. I mean, that noise can affect both ways. Now, we've worked on it. We knew it was going to be loud at Penn State. That's about as loud as it gets. So we've been there and had some success with it. But it'll be a part of this game, and we'll need to manage it so we don't get those 1st and 15s. We were talking earlier about what happened in our last game, some penalties that really hurt us offensively. So we don't need to play perfect, but we got to be locked in with cadence and our ability to jump the ball as their D-line's jumping the ball when you can't hear. CJ's ability to communicate, be loud. There's different ways you can go in silent count with your indicator of going, but we're kind of ready for all of it. I think we'll need all of it. We just got to execute and fight through it the best we can.
Kevin, you've been at 2 of the programs in the country that you're kind of expected to win every game. When you're now in this playoff situation as opposed to maybe the BCS, how hard is it to kind of have a satisfying season in that kind of environment? And then like with your guys here, it's almost like a second chance type of deal. Was there a different kind of mentality that you saw?
Last year, we fell short, but we did practice our team. I think what we went through last year helped us go through that a little bit again this year, where we did practice really well. Even though that was not the championship game, it's still the Rose Bowl, and we didn't have a lot of guys that opt out, and now we didn't have any this year with the national championship opportunity. So, the team initially responded and practiced well. I think your point, there's a little balance though between. I know a couple of the Oklahoma teams that came up short. I remember I saw Coach Switzer one day, and he said, "Hey, man, I lost 5 or 6 of those myself. I mean, when you're playing a great team, we're a place that you expect to win every game. But when you're playing these great games, sometimes they're toss-ups, and one player or two swings it for you or swings it against you. And our fans and most importantly for our players, they deserve us to put them in the best places to have a chance to win this game, to go play our best. And the way we practiced and game plan, I feel comfortable and confident where we're at. But at the same time, I don't think everybody talks about it, which someone just asked a question about Emeka and Marvin to CJ. I don't think Marvin Harrison is one of the best practice players I've ever seen in my life. That how much these kids work and how hard they give. So when you're around a group of guys that love playing the game, love prepping, they commitment, they take care of their bodies, you want this opportunity, and we've got the opportunity. Now, don't put so much pressure on yourself, or don't make it about you. Just make it about us, and just go out and swing as hard as you can and see if you can connect it. Sometimes you do. Don't have regrets by making it bigger than it is. Don't have regrets by coming up short because you didn't do things right. We've done things right. We're here for this opportunity. So to me, it's like, don't make this a game of perfect, because it doesn't have to be. Don't put too much, but you need to go after this game. They don't give away a national championship. You can't lose it because you never had it. You have to go win it. You have to go get it. And we'll see if our guys, I think Coach Day and Coach Mick have this team at a good point, and it's going to be a phenomenal challenge, but we're looking forward to it.
Kevin, you talk about the number of points it usually takes at this stage to win. Getting to play indoors here, you guys, Big Ten, you got to deal with what you deal with. But what do you think of this offense in this situation, and how much, I don't know, not easier, but when you have a perfect environment, what does that mean for an offense?
Yeah, I guess it helps, except they're so darn good on defense. Some cats running around and blocking them and covering and stress that they bring. So I mean, just the history of these games. They're played in better arenas, and the elements. I think give the offenses a chance to a little bit be more on point. Unfortunately, you got great players going against great players, and when you get a little bit off, maybe you don't like we've been in games we've been a little bit off, and we don't get the touchdowns you need to win the games. You got to find a way to get in. As soon as I say this will be a 13-9 game or some stuff. But you just look at it over time. You got these dynamic players on both sides. Both teams are phenomenal, talented on defense. Both teams have guys you can't block. But in these games, sometimes the great players still find a way to get in the end zone, and we just I'm not understand that we can score a lot, but to have the success we need to, we have to get the ball into the end zone. Both teams are doing that. It's going to be a challenge.